You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Man, what's the matter with that cat there?
Must be full of reefer.
Full of reefers?
Yeah, man.
Mean that cat's high?
Sailing.
Sailing?
Light.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Hello and good morning. It's Monday, March the 15th, 2021, and welcome to the Reefer Reporters as we highlight Canadian and international cannabis news stories here from the Legacy420.com news desk. Well, Kelly, how are we today? Reverend Kelly.
Thank you. It's a wonderful day. It's so spring-like. How are you today, my friend?
Oh, good. I'm looking outside. Our instant weather, eyewitness weather says it's sunny and a blue sky out there today. But it's cold.
It's cold, though. I know. Don't be fooled. It's not summer yet. But we had a beautiful weekend, and last week it was really nice, too. So it's so positive to look outside and see the birds and the sunshine. I feel like it's just around the corner.
Yes, it is. Actually, when I looked at the weather forecast this morning, I went, wow, I can hardly wait till this weekend because it's going to be really nice.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, double-digit highs all next week.
And it's the beginning of spring. It's the equinox this weekend.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good news.
Good news.
Okay, we don't need any other news now. We've just given all that we need. Just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Well, at least we know we got good weather coming our way anyways next week. So, but on the news front, when it comes to cannabis, we got some people raising some eyebrows, some cackles. They got some concerns going on because the government of Canada has put out notice. And that headline on their notice says that the draft guidance on personal production of cannabis for medical purposes is out. So they want to talk to people about changes in the medical program.
Wow, I love that you pulled this story. It's so important, and it's from the Government of Canada website. And it's the draft guidance document suggested here. It's being distributed for comment purposes only. It's a section of the document that's providing supporting information about the public consultation and will be removed from the final guidance document.
That's right. They say that since the coming into force of the Cannabis Act and the cannabis regulations, Health Canada has seen a concerning trend with the size of certain personal and designated production sites and issues associated with them. And they say, for example, they have been an increase in daily amounts being authorized by individuals, and that has gone, they say, for example, the average daily amount authorized by healthcare practitioners for individuals who access cannabis from federal licensed sellers has remained relatively constant at 2 grams per day, but the average daily authorized for personal and designated production is approximately 36 grams per day.
That's a big jump.
Yeah,
big difference. Jump. Yeah. So what are they trying to do here with this document, Al? What is the point of them putting it out, the Government of Canada? Are they trying to gather information?
Yeah, they want to gather information from everybody and anybody, law enforcement, municipalities. Okay. They want input from them on ways of changing or, as they would say, improving the program.
I see. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, they say in here that they're committed to protecting patients' rights to reasonable access to cannabis for medical purposes, and they recognize that most patients are using the program for its intended purposes.
Yes. They say that this document also sets out, for the first time, proposed factors that Health Canada may consider in making decisions to refuse or revoke a registration on public health and public safety grounds.
Ooh,
They've never
and
had
that
that
jurisdiction that says that the minister has jurisdiction and authority over that.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, now they're inviting interested stakeholders to share their perspectives on the guidance document, and in particular, the factors that may be considered when assessing the risks to public health and public safety via a 60-day public consultation. That's following this consultation. Health Canada intends to finalize the guidance document, and they're going to make it publicly available on their website.
Yes, the consultation closing date is May the 7th. Everybody needs to know that.
Certainly.
They say that the purpose of this is to provide guidance regarding the Cannabis Act and cannabis regulations to individuals who apply for authorization or are authorized to grow cannabis for themselves. The document also provides guidance on factors that Health Canada may consider decisions to refuse, as we mentioned. And Health Canada may request or consider information not specifically described in this or other guidance or registration applications documentation in order to make a decisions respecting an application for an existing. So some people are starting to wonder what may request or consider information not specifically described. Some people wonder whether they would go into people's social media accounts.
Oh dear. That's really taking it very far. Do you think that's a possibility? I guess they could.
They could,
if they're
sure.
public. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Well, it says here that the Cannabis Act wants to accomplish 3 goals: to keep the cannabis out of the hands of youth, to keep profits out of the pockets of criminals, and to protect public health and safety by allowing adults access to legal cannabis. So that's
There's a
comes to
problem.
the regulations.
There's a problem with the second one. Keep profits out of the pockets of criminals. I'm sure there's many patients out there that say that some of these licensed producers would
be the criminals. Yeah, I think so, Al. I think so. Well, certainly when it costs 25 cents to grow a gram of weed and they're charging $8.
Yeah.
That feels criminal to me. Whether or not it's against the law, that feels criminal to me.
Yeah. Now, if you scroll on down, there's a bunch of information in there. Talk about security and suggestions on what people can do. There's a bunch of headlines as you scroll down. Authorities to refuse to issue, renew, and revoke registration. Circumstances in which registration must be refused or revoked. The minister, for example, the applicant or the designated person is not eligible pursuant to the regulations. The medical document does not meet all the regulatory requirements. It is no longer valid. At the time the medical document was provided to an applicant, the individual who provided it was not a healthcare practitioner or was not entitled to practice this profession. Oh, there's quite a few of them here, eh?
Yeah, there's a few, if the name was different than the medical document, stuff to do with the minister will revoke the registration when it's not eligible pursuant. It's just a lot of information here, a lot of really valid information, and to be found online. I think it's worth taking a look at if you are a medical patient and this is something you're interested in giving your feedback about.
Yeah, they also have circumstances in which registration may be refused or revoked. I like how you go further down. I don't know if you notice how those little headlines between each section is getting bigger.
Yeah.
The print is getting bigger. It is.
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm wondering what they're trying to highlight. It says factors which may be considered in assessing the risk to public health. Excuse me. So there's a bunch of stuff in here.
Right. The authorized daily amount of cannabis supported by credible clinical evidence and or published treatment guidelines. So I wonder if they're outlining that because they've been having discrepancies with that, or maybe they've been having issues.
Yeah.
Credible clinical evidence. So maybe they're going to get those regulations a little bit tougher to be able to access your cannabis.
Yeah. With that. Like it. With that last part that you mentioned, the evidence end of things, I can see them where they're going to be requesting from doctors evidence to back up their claim that patient needs that amount. Because I know in the past they used to call anywhere between 10 and 20 grams and over. They would call for the They would call the doctor to verify it. But that was probably just a verification process and to maybe argue against it. But now they may be asking for actual documented scientific evidence.
They might be. says credible clinical evidence.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, they're looking for input on this. You go Canada.ca.
Ooh, it even talks, we missed this part, criminal activity or diversion of cannabis. So it actually lists there, it looks like they're going to be investigating that a little bit more too. Is the production site linked to any criminal activities? Is the registered or designated person registered to any criminal activities? This is very interesting. So I guess they're noticing that there may be some changes needed or new guidelines or bylaws or even new laws with this law, the Cannabis Act.
Yeah, yeah. That's what they're looking for, input on making changes.
Interesting.
And we're going to find out about them in early May.
Well, I can't wait. I'm writing it down right now. May 7th is their deadline.
Yeah, and I've already seen
follow up after that.
Some patients are have already submitted their paperwork. Just by the numbers here, just so you know, as of September 2020, there was approximately 420,000 Canadians. 420,000. How interesting.
I think they flubbed that number. I love it. Imagine if they didn't and it just was 420,000 Canadians had medical cannabis. Of course.
Of course.
Beautiful.
Yeah, about 10% of those have got licenses to grow their own. So
yeah, I like that. Good.
Alrighty, on to the next story, which is also connected to Health Canada, but they are probing. This is a B&M Bloomberg story. They said that Health Canada is probing cannabis labeling amid canopy growth potency complaint.
Yep. Health Canada is investigating complaints alleging inaccuracy labeled potency levels for some products that have been sold by licensed pot producers, including the industry leader, Canopy Growth.
Yes. Now, how did this all come to light? Well, the Smith Falls, Ontario-based cannabis producer was called out by a rival in a complaint submitted to Health Canada's Cannabis Compliance Directorate last month. According to the copy of the document obtained by B&M Bloomberg, the complaint centers on sales of Canopy's TWD brand that displays a flat 20% THC potency for 18 separate batches of its cannabis products.
Ooh, there's a quote here. It says the statistical likelihood of this many lots coming back with identical test result potencies of precisely 20% is extremely low, which leads us to believe that Canopy is employing a statistic label approach, and that's from BC-based Pure Sun Farms in a complaint. Now, Pure Sun Farms is wholly owned by Village Farms International.
Yeah. According to them, they say our conclusion is further supported by conversations with some of our provincial partners who indicated that certificates of analysis they received from Canopy on these products do not match the potency found on the TWD labels in question.
Wow. So basically one LP is calling out another LP
exactly.
and saying, you guys, and I'll tell you something, I love Pure Sun Farms. I just love their products. So, wow, I'm actually, that takes a lot of, what do we call them, cojones to be able to do that, to say, no, you're not even doing it. You're doing it wrong. And calling out what we've said in this article as the biggest provider in Canada, which is Canopy Growth. And so this little guy, Pure Sun Farms, who's not even close to them, is calling out the big giant. I love this story, Al. This is amazing.
There you go. A Health Canada spokesperson told B&M Bloomberg in an email statement that there is no variability limit for dried cannabis as potency levels vary between different parts of the plant as well as different plants within a specific lot or patch.
So as a result, cannabis producers can try to grow plants that yield potency levels above 20%, and that's believed to be the preferred minimum potency among Canadian cannabis consumers. Now, Canada's licensed producers currently have more than 1 billion grams of cannabis collectively stored in inventory, as they believe it is of its insufficient potency or quality. Executives from several producers, such as Tilray and Sundial, have frequently stated that low THC potency as a weight on sales, resulting in either sizable inventory write-downs or missed revenue opportunities.
Yeah, people don't want to buy stuff that's got 5% THC.
Wow.
10% THC. Everybody's looking for the high stuff. A lot of people are. No, we're not going to say every single person, because obviously there's people who don't. But and maybe they just overproduced on that low TH stuff.
Yeah, and then they've maybe flubbed their 20%.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah. Now, according to Health Canada spokesperson, all issues and complaints brought to Health Canada's attention are taken seriously, including any issues with license holder activities as they relate to the cannabis regulations. If warranted, after further investigation, Health Canada would take appropriate action to collect any potential non-compliance, or to correct any potential non-compliance. So,
well, the spokesperson for Canopy Growth told Bloomberg in an emailed statement that the company complies with Health Canada's labeling requirements. They say flower strains must achieve a defined THC and CBD percentage potency. This percentage dictates how the product will be labeled, both as a brand and a strain. That's what their spokesperson is saying.
Yeah. The percentage is, they go on to say, the percentage is a representative midpoint of a narrow range of historical test results for that product and strain. Only strains that meet the product-specific cannabinoid targets, as tested both in-house and by independent third-party labs, will be sold.
That kind of seems like a roundabout answer. That doesn't seem like they're answering the inquiry. Like, hey, did you guys flub your test results? And they're saying, it's a like beautiful answer.
We're pre-making the labels. And if the product doesn't make the labels, we're not going to sell it. Well, why don't you just make the product and then label it the way the product comes out?
Please. Lie. Why are you going to lie? Keep the truth. And then they're going to be, I love that though. No, but so Pure Sun Farms CEO Mandesh Dosana said in an interview that regulators need to be clear about the rules about labeling cannabis potency to avoid any ambiguity that could be misrepresented by Canadian licensed producers.
Yeah. He says that providing flat or static potency figures on labels flies completely in the face of what's written in the rules and regulations. He added that Health Canada should create a testing standard that all third-party labs should abide by when calculating cannabis potency levels to avoid any possible discrepancies one lab may have compared to others. You would think that, would they not have a standard testing?
You would think, and it would be required.
Yeah.
Well, and then so one final quote from him: if Health Canada is okay with that, there'd be significant economic impact to us and many producers, as well as efficiencies in the supply chains of the retailers and the provincial boards. So they're calling them out, and they have all the right to do that. So good for them.
Yeah.
Good.
Exactly. And the next story, what's the headline say in here?
Oh boy, Aurora Cannabis puts a mammoth 1.7 million square foot greenhouse on the sales block.
Yes, more greenhouses for sale. This is a story in the Marijuana Business Daily. They said Aurora Cannabis is looking to unload one of the largest and most expensive greenhouses ever built to grow cannabis, but any potential buyer could be on the hook for additional expenditures to get the project across the finish line.
Wow. Okay, well, they haven't set a price, but they're entertaining offers. They have put 260 million Canadian dollars all in to the gigantic 1.7 million square foot complex in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Now, according to publicly available promotional material, which lists Toronto-based Colliers International as financial advisor and listing agent for the partially completed property.
Yeah. They say that the listing is the latest example of the broad retreat from the mass-scale cannabis greenhouses in the past year by the largest Canadian producers, which wildly overspent on cultivation space. Yep.
And what didn't we just say in our last story that they're holding on to so much stock too?
Yes.
From all of this. These guys, they overspent on everything. Now, many of the greenhouse projects, whether constructed or acquired via mergers and acquisitions, ultimately led to direct real estate losses, totaling millions of dollars for Canadian licensed producers and inventory write-downs amounting to billions of dollars.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Aurora last year, they pulled the plug on the Aurora Sun. I thought that was the largest greenhouse. Now they got this other one going on here. They say that the Aurora Sun greenhouse is taking the property to market without an asking price for price discovery. They say such a move helps determine the price of an asset in a volatile market.
1.7 million square feet is a big place. That's a big place, Al.
It is. It's huge.
Yeah. Now, the target closing is listed as late second quarter to early third quarter of the year. That's according to the brochure. And they seem to be looking for a quick sale that way.
Yes, yeah, they probably are. Get it off their books and get that money onto their books to reduce debts.
Yep.
Because the move comes almost a year after Aurora accepted an offer to its largest greenhouse, which was in Exeter, Ontario, for approximately half of its $17 million suggested or listing price. So they only got like half of that. So you're looking, $8.5 million?
Wow. So it's in Medicine Hat. It remains unfinished, despite the significant amount of capital that's already poured into there. And the Collier's managing director says that there will be some additional capital spend required to complete the facility, but that amount will be dictated by the purchaser's intended use. Oh, so I wonder if maybe they're not going to sell it to cannabis. Maybe they're just selling it open market.
Yeah, maybe. And if somebody wants to turn it into a cannabis place, they got millions more to invest into it.
Absolutely. Sounds like it.
Done yet. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, see what happens. More greenhouses for sale.
Wow.
Oh, and this is this next story. Some people had big concerns about this next story.
Yep.
That's right. Go
From
ahead.
Technical 420. And the headline is Big Tobacco has made another major investment in the cannabis sector.
That's right. Organogram Holdings Incorporated announced a transformation development and reported to have received $221 million strategic investment from wholly owned subsidiary of British American Tobacco.
Wow. Now, according to the terms of a strategic investment agreement, the BAT's subsidiary reported to have subscribed to approximately 58 million common shares of Organogram. That's about 20% equity interest, and 3.7 Canadian dollars for each, with a $221 million total proceeds. That's a lot of money for Organogram.
Yeah.
And they're a huge business too, Organogram.
Exactly, they are. And BAT stands for American or British American Tobacco, if anybody's wondering. As part of the transaction, the company is entering into a product development collaboration agreement. As part of the agreement, a center of excellence will be established to focus on developing the next generation of cannabis products with an initial focus on CBD. The center will be located at Organogram's indoor facility in New Brunswick, which holds the necessary licenses from Health Canada to conduct research and development activities.
New Brunswick's got a really big, hot cannabis market. I love hearing about that. They've always got stuff happening there. Now, one of the reasons that they're excited about the development that's related to what the BAT has to offer and the Organogram partnership, that both companies will contribute scientists, researchers, and product developers to the Center of Excellence. Now, under the terms of the PDC agreement, both Organogram and the BAT have access to certain of each other's intellectual properties, and they're favorable on the amount of value and synergies that can be found between the businesses. It sounds like it's a win-win for both.
It sounds like it. They say that BAT is considering to be a leading consumer goods business that has a sophisticated management team, an innovative product platform, and an impressive track record of success. And they think the relationship will play a key role in the evolution of Organogram and the advancements of the business. What they're working on.
It sounds like they're working on it. So Organogram's a big one. Let's see where they go with that.
Yeah, they expect it to be a significant impact on the business. So, see what happens.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of when Canopy Growth and the alcohol company in the States got together, Constellation Brands. Yeah,
that was a lot of money there too.
Big money there, big money here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as we look towards possible federal legalization in the states, we're going to see more of these things happening.
Yeah,
Certainly.
I think so. Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Exactly. All right. Our last story before we go to a break, and this is in the Montreal Gazette. The Montreal police raid cannabis grow-ops at 8 West Island homes.
Oh, yeah. They raided 8 homes on the West Island this past Thursday. They seized $150,000 in equipment, more than 1,300 cannabis plants, and this was along with a large quantity of bagged cannabis that was destined for the black market.
Raids were carried out in Lachine. Well, this is going to get bad. I can't pronounce all these words. These towns.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to try?
No, I do not. I want to just say lovely French word places.
Okay, yeah.
Black market crime. There we go.
Yeah, the raids were carried out by the ACCS squad targeting black market crime in collaboration with local police precincts.
Right. Now, police also found cocaine, crack, methamphetamine, fentanyl, magic mushrooms, and more than $40,000 in cash.
3 of the raided residents. Remember our story, our first story, the draft. 3 of the raided residents had permits to grow medical cannabis for personal use. Problems. But the investigation determined that part of the production was slated for the black market. Problems.
Interesting.
Police force said the drugs were aimed largely at student clientele.
Oh, it's interesting how they know these things.
Was it college students that are of age?
Maybe.
Everybody thinks students, they're thinking of high school or grade school students. We think of a student. But college students, university students.
Yeah.
They're of age. But
this is study.
These kind of stories is what leads to our first story.
Yes, absolutely. The conversation that Health Canada is asking us to have.
Because
now we've got people with medical licenses that are now using them for crime.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's going to have a negative effect on patients who stick to the book.
Yeah.
You know, so
please don't do that.
That's right.
Please stop. Crime.
Please stop. Yeah, that's right. You're ruining it for the rest of us. All right. Well, it's medication time, which means we're going to hear from our sponsors. Then Rev Kelly and I will be right back after the break. You're listening to Reefer Reporters. We are live here at PaceRadio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at PaceRadio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. Their values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education. A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Hey growers and grow shops, do you want a 20% increase in yield from your cannabis grow? Then you need Calexa nutrients for bigger, better buds. Grow Micro Bloom is a 3-part premium-based nutrient trio specifically formulated to give you bigger, better buds. Win your own sample kit by heading to CalexaNutrients.com and contact us with your name, email, and catchphrase. We will pick one random name on the Pace Radio Facebook page. So remember, check out Calexa Essential Nutrients for bigger, better buds at CalexaNutrients.com.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Hey, Rev Kelly and I are back from our medication session, and we are live here at paceradio.net. Reverend Kelly, before we get on to our second segment of news, I know I always ask you before the show, what's new at the lounge? And I didn't ask you that. Just jumped right in. Okay. We just jumped right into the news. And I know from posts that you do have something new at the lounge, or you're making some changes.
Well, we're making a little bit of change. We have been told that we are the only surviving cannabis lounge left in our province. I'm not sure if that's actually true. I haven't done an investigation, but we're being told that by a lot of former cannabis lounge owners and other people in the community. So we want to save the lounge. We want to make sure that we don't go anywhere. We've been hit pretty hard with COVID. So what we're doing for the time being, because we've been told by bylaw and Health Canada that we are not allowed to intentionally social gather. So that means that we're not allowed to do events. We're not allowed to hang out and do things. But we can still be open and we can still have products there. So if you want to visit the lounge right now, you would be visiting not for an event, but for our products and to maybe get advice or to get some help looking for access to cannabis. Anything that you would need that doesn't involve an event, Kelly's Green Lounge has that for you right now.
So you could be open through the day. And you can sell stuff out of your store, but you just you can't hold any educational events or anything.
We're not allowed right now, but we're still continuing with all of our virtual events, all of our shows, and all of our virtual content. So that's sort of how we're staying open and keeping open right now. I will say that we have a lot of fundraisers going on and continuing, and when we're allowed, we're going to have a big car wash.
Oh, cool!
Is that
car
fun?
Wash. Yes, it sure would be. Sure would be. So good. That's good. That's good.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah. All righty. Okay. Into our news stories again for the day. We ended up our first session, or our first part of the show, with about a raid in Montreal. Now we're going to Hamilton.
Ooh, and I can't stop looking at this photo. I know that it will be up a little bit later. This photo is incredible. Hamilton police have seized $4.5 million worth of cannabis destined for the U.S. from a truck in Stony Creek. And in the photograph, they're showing bags and bags and bags of it. It's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's a lot. There's a lot there. Lots of bags. There's only one label I can read, and it says Hamilton Police Service.
Yep.
Where
will it all go?
Yeah. Well, a Hamilton man is facing multiple charges after more than 296 kilograms of cannabis, apparently destined for the United States, was seized by police in Stony Creek last week.
Now, investigators say the load was confiscated from a truck in an industrial area on the afternoon of March 1st after a tip about a suspicious shipment that was being loaded into it.
Yeah, after executing a search warrant, 653 bags of cannabis were picked up from the truck and a nearby warehouse.
That's an estimated value of the cannabis is believed to be at $4.5 million. Now, they only list cannabis here. Usually when there's a raid of some sort, they have other kinds of drugs or weapons or money, but I'm just seeing a bunch of weed in bags.
That's right, exactly. Detective Sergeant Jason Cattle says in a statement that based on the level of sophistication used to conceal the cannabis and the method used to transport it across the border, police believe members of organized crime to be involved. You think so?
Ooh, maybe a little bit. For $4.5 million, I think that maybe. Something's got to be organized there. Right? That's a lot of money and a lot of weed. The amount of cannabis seized and the method used to avoid detection at the U.S. border is consistent with high-level drug importing and exporting. Does it say how they did it, how they hid it? I'm looking for that.
No, not yet.
No.
Not yet. No. They said the investigators have reached out to the U.S. authorities to determine the exact destination of the shipment, and the 56-year-old accused is facing charges tied to possession and failing to comply with prohibition. Ooh.
Oh boy.
He's already been charged with something else.
I just wish that we could find out how they were trying to get it into the U.S. I really want to know. It says that it's consistent with, crime rings. So how are they bringing it in? They're smuggling it in.
Well, obviously they messed up somewhere.
Somewhere along the lines, right? I remember hearing stories about how when hash was prohibited, how they used to use moccasins and use the soles of shoes to bring it in, and instead of soles of shoes, it was hash.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Oh.
So now that's why I'm curious with all this these bags, because that's a lot. That's a lot of weed to be hiding to get into the U.S. Interesting.
Interesting. All righty. On to our next article. That's another one by B&M Bloomberg. Headline says, cannabis is going global at a rapid pace. It sure is, isn't it, Kelly?
Sure is. And that can be seen in the deal just announced by Curaleaf Holdings, the largest U.S. cannabis company that aims to turn Europe into a launchpad for international growth. Or take a look at British American Tobacco's PLC's new stake in the Canadian cannabis company Organigram Holdings, which we just reported on. And then there's the bill passed last week in Mexico that could make recreational cannabis legal, which paves the way for heavy international investment.
Yeah, together the developments show that the global receptiveness to cannabis is accelerating. And do you remember when Canada first talked about legalizing and everybody was going, no, you can't do that, you can't go do that. Now look what's going on. We're reading about it. Consider how rapidly Mexico's stance has changed. The possession of small amounts of cannabis was first decriminalized in 2009, and limited medical use was legalized in 2017. The country... we'll get into that actually in an upcoming story about their legalization.
Yep. Now they're relatively quick progression compared to the U.S., where some decriminalization began in the 1970s and medical cannabis was legalized in the 1990s. Now, decades later, the industry is seeking approval on a national level for recreational use.
Yeah, because the stuff in the 70s and the stuff in the 90s, it's all state. Even now, like today, it's still state. Hopefully there's going to be a change in that. They say with the population approaching 130 million, Mexico is on the cusp of becoming the largest legal place, and we'll get more into all that as we get into our upcoming stories.
And it even says it might pressure the U.S. to follow suit.
Yeah.
I think it will. It's right smack in the middle of two federally legal nations. Now, Mexico's move is particularly significant for global cannabis because many of the multinational pharmaceutical, alcohol, and consumer product companies are already there. It could make the country an attractive place to export cannabis and relative products from. Emily Faxia, managing partner of Poisidon Asset Management, said in a phone conversation last week to Bloomberg, you can do high-quality manufacturing in Mexico for a low cost.
They'll pay the wages. That could be why. They say that it quickly went from focusing on domestic opportunities to how to participate in this global supply chain. They went on to say they've been investigating for many years. So it's more countries are getting involved.
They really are. It looks like it's worldwide, and you know, they better get on board with it.
Yep, that's right. There's, look at this. Number of the week, just so you know, down towards the bottom. The number of partnerships Big Tobacco has made with cannabis-related companies to date. 6 tobacco companies are connected to cannabis companies.
Wow. 6 tobacco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it talks about this, all the alcohol and the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, all those companies
that are. Look, can't trust. Can't trust is right there.
Oh, yeah?
Can't trust. I see you.
All right, now talking about Mexico. We're not going to talk about the country. We're going to talk about New Mexico in our next story. And this comes to us from the U.S. News. It says that New Mexico hit stalemate on cannabis legalization. Ooh,
Come on, guys. State legislators are at a stalemate regarding popular efforts to legalize cannabis in New Mexico with less than a week remaining to send a bill to the governor.
The state panel pulled cannabis discussions off its agenda minutes before a Sunday hearing. Legislators are searching for common ground among advocates for legalization who say the industry would help New Mexico's economic recovery from the pandemic.
Absolutely it will. Divergent views on cannabis taxation, licensing, and pardon procedures for past convictions are complicating efforts to bring a final bill to crucial Senate vote.
Yeah. New Mexico Governor Michelle Grissom has set cannabis legalization as a high priority this year as her administration looks for new sources of employment as an antidote to high rates of poverty.
Ooh, ding, 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 ding. Hello, of course it would. Now, in one camp, Republican State Senator Cliff Partel of Roswell is advocating for a streamlined approach to taxation and regulation aimed at stamping out the illicit market for cannabis and providing easy entry for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, successful legislation also is likely to include social justice provisions within a House-approved bill from the Democratic State Representative Javier Martinez that emphasizes aid to communities affected by cannabis criminalization.
That's one of my favorite things that they do down there, putting the money back into the communities that need it the most, the ones that have been targeted with the crime, that have affected most by prohibition. I wish they would do that in Canada, Al. I really wish they would.
And the next line I wish they would do in Canada. The House-backed bill provides automated pardon and expungement procedures for past cannabis possession charges and convictions.
I wish. Automated pardon and expungement procedures. Why can't we have that?
Oh,
why?
They say that every case is individual and they're all separate. There could have been different factors. Maybe the charges were reduced. Maybe there was something violent that they reduced it from. So this is why Canadian lawmakers want to review each case individually instead of just wiping it off with a swipe of a pen. Yeah,
such a hard call there. I can see their point, but on the other side of it, there's so many people that are waiting for their pardons.
Yeah,
it's just not fair. Now, legislators have until the close of regular annual legislative session, which is at noon on March 20th, to send the bills to the governor. Several die-hard opponents to legalization were ousted from the state Senate in 2020 elections. That's good news.
Nice. But
we'll know by our news report next Monday. We'll know.
We'll know. That's right. Yep. Negotiations over a legalization bill have faltered as some incumbent medical cannabis producers insist on price supports and a head start into the licensing process to bring recreational cannabis use to the market.
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. New Mexico.
New Mexico will know by next week.
That's right. Hopefully they legalize on the recreational end. Now, talking about the bigger Mexico, the country. Here we go. Mexico Daily News. Headline says, Lower House votes to legalize cannabis. Senate vote to follow.
Yes, after a marathon 14-hour debate, the lower house of Congress approved a bill early Thursday to legalize recreational cannabis, bringing Mexico one step closer to becoming the world's largest legal cannabis market.
So we're still not there yet, eh?
Good. A little bit closer, Al. How long have we been saying that? How many times have we reported on Mexico legalizing? Every week.
Every week. Yep. The federal law for regulation of cannabis passed the Chamber of Deputies with 250 votes in favor, 163 against, and 14 absent. People were away.
Yes. Now, the legalization, which legalizes possession of up to 28 grams of cannabis for personal use and the cultivation of up to 6 plants in one's home, has now been returned to the Senate for ratification of the changes made by the lower house.
That's right. The Chamber of Deputies made 7 changes to the law after approving it in general terms on Wednesday afternoon.
Now, one proposed by the ruling Morena Party makes possession of more than 5.6 kilograms of cannabis punishable by 3 to 7 years imprisonment and up to about $1,300 fine.
Yeah. Among the other 6 changes is one that gives the agricultural minister the exclusive power to grant licenses for the industrial use of cannabis, and another that makes it illegal to convert forested land into cannabis plantations. So they're protecting.
That's an interesting one. I love that. Protecting the land.
Yeah.
That's really good. Now, the bill passed by the lower house eliminates the Senate's proposal to create a Mexican Cannabis Institute to regulate the legal cannabis market. It gives the authority to the National Commission Against Addictions. Wow. That's who is the authority, whereas ours is the Alcohol and Gaming Commission.
Here in Ontario, yeah.
Here in Ontario. So in Mexico, it's the National Commission Against Addictions that will govern it. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, and we have our Health Canada that looks after stuff too. So
Yeah.
Among the responsibilities will be to issue and, if necessary, revoke licenses for the production, cultivation, or distribution and sale of cannabis for recreational purposes.
Now, the legislation recognizes the right of people aged 18 and over to consume cannabis recreationally as long as their use doesn't affect others, especially children.
Here's the line you like, Kelly, and many others will as well. It proposes allowing the establishment of cannabis clubs or associations whose members would be permitted to cultivate up to 4 plants each in a common place or clubhouse, as long as the total production doesn't exceed 50 plants.
Yes, I like that. And such spaces would be required to have a separate areas for cultivation. So it sounds like you can have a community growing facility or club. That's what they do in Uruguay.
Yeah.
So in Uruguay, the first nation to legalize, that's what they do. You have 3 ways you can have cannabis. You can grow your own, you can go to a club to do it, or you can get it from a pharmacy. I like that idea. Yeah. I think that, you can meet other growers and you can work together. I love that.
That's right, yeah. Bricks and mortar stores with the appropriate licenses would be permitted to sell cannabis for recreational purposes, but the sale via vending machines, over the phone, online, or any other way that is not face-to-face would be prohibited.
Okay.
Now you look, our country was, like with COVID and stuff, even the medical program, you had to, we still have that on, everybody has that online option to purchase it. And that's the only way we could in a medical program originally was to do it online or grow it ourselves.
Yep. Yeah. Grow it yourself online. Not vending machines. I don't think we need vending machines.
Well, there are vending machines for it.
Where are the vending machines? Are they?
One time they had some out in British Columbia.
Did they really? Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
there
gonna
are
Google
some in the
pictures
US.
of it. I'd love to see it. I bet they do. You know what? I bet they do in California or Oregon, one of the places that are really cannabis friendly.
Yeah,
I bet they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now the
Chamber of you go.
No, you go ahead.
The Chamber of Deputies' approval of the bill comes 2 years after the Supreme Court ruled that the ban on recreational cannabis was unconstitutional.
That's right. The Senate approved an earlier version of the bill in November and is expected to pass the new version swiftly before sending it on to the president for him to make it legal. Promulgation? There you go.
That's a great word. I've never heard that word before, but I like it. Promulgation. Beautiful. However, an organization that opposes the prohibition of drugs says the legislation doesn't comply with the Supreme Court's order to eliminate the ban on recreational cannabis.
Yep, the Mexico United Against Crime said it in a statement that recreational cannabis users could still be criminalized because there is a lack of clarity about what penalties apply to possession of different quantities of the plant.
Yes. The legislation maintains a system of tolerance thresholds that generate legal uncertainty for users because it's difficult to understand when a crime and when an administrative offense is being committed. That's according to the MUCD.
Yeah, they say the simple increase in the quantities of which criminal sanctions apply doesn't eliminate the space for extortion nor the possibility of the police arbitrarily detaining people to suspicious appearance.
Yes. So it sounds like they're really trying to crack down on organized crime in Mexico and take the cannabis out of their hands and put it into the government. I think that was their plan all along. That was their one big focus.
Now, MUCD is also critical of the legislation because it doesn't decriminalize the cultivation of cannabis by people with low levels of education and extreme economic needs, mainly small plot farmers who have long grown cannabis to support themselves and their families.
Wow.
That's right. In this way, marginalization and the criminal punishment of our I can't pronounce that word, campusedness is perpetrated. And these people are the people are most affected by prohibition, and they should be integrated into the legal market, not kept in illegality. So
I love that they're writing that. That's wonderful that they're taking that into consideration. It's so important.
That's right.
Why didn't we do this in Canada?
We must create a legal market. We mustn't create a legal market that only prioritizes the economic benefit of those who participate in the sale of cannabis and excludes others, less advantaged actors.
Yeah, it's called on the Senate to correct the legalization and comply with the mandate of the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's right. As you said earlier, it was 2 years ago. They said it has to be legalized, and it just seems to be itching slowly to that point.
Come on, Mexico.
One more step to go. One more step to go. One more.
That's right.
And talking about legalization, who's next?
Beautiful story out of the Richmond News with the headline, Morocco moves towards legalizing medical cannabis.
That's right. Morocco's government on Thursday approved a landmark bill that would legalize non-recreational use of cannabis. Nice.
Hearing that.
Nice.
Woohoo! Yes. Largely motivated by growing international demand for medical and industrial cannabis, the move will set the North African kingdom, among the top global producers, on the path of creating a regulated market for an industry that has long been dominated by drug traffickers.
Yeah, the bill, which was approved by the cabinet after numerous delays, will now be submitted to Parliament. Some members of the powerful Islamic Justice and Development Party opposed the bill, but others support it, including the Prime Minister.
Now, if it passes, Morocco would be one of the few countries in the region or in the Arab world to legalize the cannabis for non-recreational use. Recreational use would remain illegal.
Yeah, that's right. Morocco is seeking to establish a regulatory framework for the entire chain of cultivation, production, processing, and marketing of cannabis for medical, cosmetic, and industrial use, such as textiles or paper.
Right. Now, the bill would also create a government agency to ensure that illicit cannabis isn't being used in illegal activities.
That's right. Cannabis has been cultivated in Morocco for centuries. And in 2003, it covered an area of 134,000 hectares, mostly in the northern Reefer region, and cultivated lands have since been reduced in size by the government to 47,000 hectares as of 2014. So they're shrinking the amount of land that people are being able to grow it illegally.
Right. Now, the push for legalization has gained momentum in the country since the UN Commission on Narcotic Drugs voted in December to remove cannabis from a category of the world's most dangerous drugs. I think that was my favorite day of 2020, Al.
Yes, and yet here again is another country that is changing. They're looking at changing because of that decision by the UN.
Round of applause for me.
That's
Thanks
right.
for that.
That's right.
I love this story. What a wonderful way to end our broadcast today.
Yes, it is, isn't it, eh? Yeah. Good news. Another country that's legalized, even, legalized the marijuana. Yep. I'm thinking of the patients. And, once they see that the sky doesn't fall with that, the next step begins.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. Alrighty. Anything we need to touch on before we close out the show?
I don't think so. We've got contests happening here at Pace Radio. I'm so excited for all of our contests that we always do.
Yeah, we have on with spring coming on. Everybody's going to be starting to get ready for the new year. Due to Craig McEachran, he has set up a contest here on the network with Clexia Food Essential Nutrients. Clexia Essential Nutrients.
Yeah.
And people can win themselves some free food for their plants. And all you have to do is listen to the commercials, and that explains everything. You just got to go to the Clexia's website, contact them, let them know the what do you call that? The line, the saying for the company, bigger, better buds, and you'll have a chance to get your name into a draw, and they pick the winner out of the draw. And Craig's announcing it.
Excellent.
I believe the guy was a guy won last week by the name of Paul, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. I know I shared the post after Craig made the announcement. It's good to see. That's for sure. All right. Excellent. Anything else? Anything else?
That's all. It's going to be a wonderful spring week, and I hope you enjoy this.
Yeah. Oh, one thing, the contest runs through the month of March, just so you know. There is some information at the website, and other than that, let's hope that April is sunny and plants can start to grow early.
Yes, absolutely.
That's right. Okay, from the Legacy420.com news desk, that's it. Thanks for all our buds at BMA Hydroponics, the Camelford Lifestyle Shop, drbuckcds.com, as well as Legacy420.com. I was down to visit Tim and everybody down there on Friday. It was great to see everybody, doing our social stuff and everything. When you walk into Legacy 420, just so you know, Kelly, you have your temperature checked, contact information, all that is going on while you're there.
Wow, great.
Yeah. All right, other than that, in closing, we'd like to say thank you for listening to our Cannabis News broadcast. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your coworkers, the person you're sitting beside, and those who need to know. Until the next time, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888. And grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Hey growers and grow shops, do you want a 20% increase in yield from your cannabis grow? Then you need Calexa nutrients for bigger, better buds. Grow Micro Bloom is a 3-part premium-based nutrient trio specifically formulated to give you bigger, better buds. Win your own sample kit by heading to CalexaNutrients.com and contact us with your name, email, and catchphrase. We will pick one random name on the Pace Radio Facebook page. So remember, check out Calexa Essential Nutrients for bigger, better buds at CalexaNutrients.com.
Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.